You can now make online payments to SLPA Clearing Pass Management System via GovPay.
As the conflict between Iran and Israel escalates, the US administration is offering mixed signals about whether it still backs a diplomatic solution to Iran's nuclear program. US President Donald Trump issued a number of Iran-related statements yesterday in which he claimed the US, which has not declared direct engagement in the conflict, knows exactly where Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is hiding. Trump said Khamenei was an easy target, but they were not going to take him out, at least for now. He added that America's patience is wearing thin and demanded an unconditional surrender from Iran. Responding to the threats, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei wrote on X, pledging in the name of the noble Haidar that the battle begins. Haidar is an alternative name for Ali, the fourth Muslim caliph. Meanwhile, in a televised address today, Khamenei said Iran will not accept imposed war or peace, adding that the nation will not surrender to anyone in the face of imposition. Khamenei also pointed to statements made by Trump, saying that any US military intervention will undoubtedly be accompanied by irreparable consequences. Khamenei's comments came as the US shifted significant numbers of refueling tankers and fighter aircraft to Europe in anticipation of responding to the conflict if needed. The move comes despite US intelligence stating repeatedly that Iran does not have nuclear weapons capability and was not planning on achieving it. Meanwhile, explosions rocked Tehran as Israel claimed to have hit 40 sites in Iran today alone, including centrifuge and weapons production sites. The attacks come after Iran launched more missiles towards Israel, including the hypersonic Fatah projectile, claiming the weapon broke through Israeli air defenses. The death toll from Israel's attacks on Iran has risen to more than 240, including 70 women and children. More than 24 people have been killed in Iranian attacks on Israel. Meanwhile, yesterday, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar described the Israeli initiative as a mission to severely damage the Iranians' plan to eliminate the State of Israel. When questioned how that would be achieved, Saar said they were doing it gradually and that the initial step was accomplished when they dealt with Hamas and Hezbollah, describing them as the tentacles of the octopus. He stated that they were dealing with the head of the octopus now and went on to say that regime change may be a result but is not an objective of this war. In the meantime, a number of countries including India, China and Russia evacuated their citizens from Iran, with China evacuating over 700 Chinese nationals while processing the evacuation of more than 1,000 others. Meanwhile, on Monday, the Group of Seven Nations expressed support for Israel in a statement and labelled its rival Iran as a source of instability in the Middle East, with the G7 leaders urging broader de-escalation of hostilities in the region. Speaking at the Valdai Discussion Club roundtable in St. Petersburg, Russia, former Sri Lankan President Ranil commented on the Israel-Iran conflict and world leaders' stances on it.
The G7 communique of yesterday justifying it as self-defense is not acceptable because the attack took place while talks were going on. If it took place to give the most favorable interpretation to Israel, then it had to be after the talks were over and if it broke down. But talks went on. The 60-day period was over, but the United States decided to give it extension by going for another round. So this concept of self-defense is harmful. Secondly, what we are afraid is the Israel attack has not, as they intended, destroyed everything in the first attack. So you can witness maybe a more drawn-out conflict which has to be brought to an end.